The cold morning of February 28, 2026, emerged as a terrifying turning point in the pages of history, when the smell of gunpowder and the noise of sirens in the skies of the Middle East shook the world. The United States and Israel launched a secret and joint military operation named Operation Epic Fury, whose objective was not merely the destruction of installations, but to shake the very foundations of Iran's sovereignty. Before the attack, for months there had been political pressure and behind-the-scenes efforts to overthrow Iran's supreme leader. But when diplomacy failed, gunpowder began to speak. This was not merely a military action, but a coordinated strategy aimed at ending a system that had existed for decades and permanently altering the balance of power. The first phase of the operation began with electronic warfare, which in the blink of an eye paralyzed Iran's communications system and radar network. When Iran's defense system became blind, U.S. Air Force stealth aircraft silently entered Iranian airspace and targeted sensitive locations already identified through satellite intelligence. Advanced guided bombs and precision strike missiles targeted buildings in the heart of Tehran that had been considered impregnable. The most significant and sensitive mission of this attack was to destroy the secure compound of Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, where a highly accurate missile turned the central building into rubble within moments. The attack on the secure compound in Tehran was so sudden and intense that the defense forces had no opportunity to recover, and clouds of smoke and fire spread everywhere. Initially, an eerie silence prevailed within Iranian official circles, as if time had stopped, but a few hours later that silence was shattered by a major announcement. Iranian state media, in a trembling voice, declared the news that stunned the entire world. Ali Khamenei has been killed in this attack. With this announcement, shockwaves spread from the streets of Tehran to the halls of the Middle East, and a 40-day period of mourning was immediately declared in Iran. Historically, it is clear that Iran's founding leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, passed away in 1989, and after him it was Ali Khamenei who determined Iran's destiny for 37 years. The event of 2026 is significant because Ali Khamenei was not only a political leader but was also considered the strongest pillar of Iran's ideological structure. His death has created a political vacuum in Iran that may not be filled even in the coming decades. This attack has proven that in the era of modern technology and satellite surveillance, no bunker or wall remains secure, and the pride of power stands only a missile's distance away from precision targeting. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, declared this attack an act of war and announced an immediate and forceful response, causing the clouds of war to thicken across the entire region. Within hours, missiles and suicide drones began raining down on American and allied military bases across the Middle East, pushing the situation toward chaos. From Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon, the conflict spread to the seas, where global trade routes and oil shipments also came under threat. The world's attention was now fixed on Iran's next move, whether it would choose full-scale regional war or seek a new path for its survival. As a result of this horrific operation, not only did dozens of military personnel and civilians lose their lives, but a severe political crisis has also emerged within Iran. After the death of the supreme leader, the biggest question now is who will become the new successor and whether he will be able to pull Iran out of this destruction. For Iran's Assembly of Experts, this is the most difficult test in history, because the new leader will determine the direction of the country's future, economy, and foreign policy. Political analysts believe that if the new selection becomes controversial, the possibility of civil war within Iran cannot be ruled out. At the global level, this incident has divided the world's major powers into two camps. On one side, Western countries are calling it an act of defense against terrorism, while Russia and China are labeling it a violation of international law. The balance of power in the Middle East, which had remained in place for years, has now completely shifted, and this joint action by Israel and the United States has forced other countries in the region to reconsider their defense policies. Was Operation Epic Fury truly a step toward peace, or is it the precursor to a great war that could engulf the entire world? That is the question only time will answer. After the death of Ali Khamenei, a strange wave of sadness and anger is running through the streets of Tehran, where people are mourning their leader while also expressing a desire for revenge. Mourning ceremonies are ongoing in Iran's educational institutions, mosques, and public places. Yet behind the scenes, a struggle for power has begun over who will take control of the country. The Middle East now stands at a point from which return seems impossible, and every new use of force is giving birth to another human tragedy. It has become a chessboard, where not pieces but the survival of nations is at stake. Military experts say that the technology used in this operation has written new chapters in the history of warfare, where drone intelligence and precision strike capabilities have ended the traditional concept of war. Iran's defense structure, on which billions of dollars had been spent, has had its weaknesses exposed to the world by this single attack, carrying a stern message for other countries in the region as well. The question now is whether Iran will be able to rebuild and improve its technology, or whether it will fragment under diplomatic isolation. The coming months and the conduct of Iran's new leadership will determine this outcome. The script concludes with a major question mark. Will the end of Ali Khamenei bring a wave of change in Iran, or is it the beginning of a new era of extremism? The history of the Middle East bears witness that whenever a great tree falls, the surrounding ground trembles for a long time. The world's eyes are now on the decisions emerging from Tehran, which will determine not only Iran's future, but the future of all humanity. We have entered an era where peace seems merely a dream and war a bitter reality, where every new day rises with new headlines and new fears.